So let's proceed with fission. Now fission, as we discussed, is of two types: binary fission and multiple fission. Binary fission, as we discussed, if the body of the organism divides into two new daughter cells, it is called binary fission. Now the binary fission occurs in unicellular organisms. Now it can occur in the irregular pattern or in the longitudinal or transversal according to the plane of the division. It occurs in organisms like protists and bacteria. Now, multiple fission is the mode of fission in which the body of organism divides into several individuals, new individuals, many different individuals are produced. The example, as we discussed, is plasmodium. Now, there is another process called as sporulation. Now, sporulation occurs in unfavorable conditions. So, it is not a mode of reproduction, but rather only a mode of survival. So, in case of amoeba, we are taking an example of amoeba. It covers itself by a thick wall and forms a cyst, and this process called as encystation. But on the return of the favorable condition, now this cell can further produce many daughter nuclei inside it while it is in the unfavorable condition, and then it can release these nuclei in the water and produce several offspring. So that way it will be a mode of reproduction. Now binary fission in amoeba and multiple fission in plasmodium, as you can see here. Now parent cell, if it is dividing into two new daughter cells, which involves two steps, that is karyokinesis, division of the nucleus, and cytokinesis, division of the cell. Here you can see multiple fission in plasmodium, in which one nucleus is dividing into many new nuclei, and these nuclei then form the cells. And once the wall of the plasmodium breaks up, it releases these daughter cells outside. Now spore formation. Spore formation occurs in the case of Chlamydomonas, as we discussed. It produces microscopic zoospores which have two flagella. In the case of penicillium, there is production of conidia, which are produced on a special structure called conidiophore, which are produced externally. The gemmules, which are produced in sponges, are also asexually reproductive structures, which are produced internally. Now let's discuss this and just look at the diagram here. So you'll be able to see here, this is the structure of penicillium. So it has these conidiophores, which bear the conidia externally. While in the case of sponges, you can see these are the gemmules which are produced internally. These are the production of zoospores by the Chlamydomonas. The structure, which is the parent cell, is producing the zoospores called as the zoosporangium. Budding is also another mode of asexual reproduction in which a bud-like structure, a circular structure or a similar structure appears as an outgrowth from the parent cell, and it grows and matures and then it separates from the parent body. The examples are yeast and hydra. Now, vegetative propagules. As you know, vegetative propagation is the mode of reproduction in plants in which they are not using the sexually reproductive mode, that is they do not involve the seed production. तो vegetative reproduction जो involve कर रहा है उसके अंदर propagules का मतलब जो parts plant के हम use कर रहे हैं for the vegetative propagation. The examples are runner, like in the case of oxalis. There can be suckers, there can be tubers, like in potato. There can be offsets, like in the water hyacinth and pistia. Then there can be bulbs, like in the case of onion and garlic, the rhizomes in ginger, the bulbils in agave, and leaf buds in the case of bryophyllum. Now, this is very important because in CBSE, many times this question has been asked about the vegetative propagules of a particular plant. Now, terror of Bengal. This is a special mention in your NCERT book also. Now, the plant water hyacinth that we just talked about, which reproduces by offset as we discussed. Now, it is also nicknamed as terror of Bengal. Eichonia is nicknamed as terror of Bengal because it grows at an alarming stage and it caused famine in the Bengal because it spread on the water body and it cuts out the light and also causes a decrease in the dissolved oxygen, which caused the death of fish and other aquatic organisms. Now, let's start with the next topic, which is sexual mode of reproduction. In the sexual mode of reproduction, we have three major events, that is the pre-fertilization, the syngamy and fertilization, and post-fertilization. Now, the pre-fertilization, as the name suggests, which occurs before the fertilization. Fertilization is the process of fusion of gametes. So, the process which occurs before this is called pre-fertilization. And the process which occurs after this is called as post-fertilization. The pre-fertilization events are gametogenesis and gamete transfer. Gametogenesis means the formation of gametes, and gamete transfer, as you all know that gametes are transferred from one part or from one reproductive structure to the other, called as the gamete transfer. Now, stages in the sexual reproducing organism. Now, there are three phases in the life of the sexually reproducing organisms. The juvenile phase. In animals, we call it as juvenile, while in the case of plants, we call it as vegetative phase, in which there is the growth of the organism, but not the production of the reproductive structures. Then comes the reproductive phase, in which the reproductive organs start maturing and they start producing gametes. And the last stage is the senescence, in which the body becomes weak and it ends in the death of the organism. Now, flowering in plants. Now, in annual and biennial plants, the flowering occurs only once in their lifetime. Now, in these plants, vegetative, reproduction and senescent stages are unmistakably distinguished, because एक ही साल के अंदर उनको एक या दो साल, annual means 1 year life cycle and biennial means 2. So इस केस के अंदर बहुत ही क्लियर कट उनके अंदर एक ही बार फ्लावरिंग होता है, तो एक वेजिटेटिव फेज आएगा, उसके बाद वो रिप्रोडक्टिव फेज में एक ही बार फ्लावरिंग और प्रोडक्शन करेंगे, एंड देन दे विल एंटर इनटू सेनेसेंट स्टेज. So this occurs in the case of rice, wheat, marigold, and there are many other examples. Now, in a few plants, blooming happens a few times in a specific season. So blossoming happens or blooming happens and then they die. Now, this example is bamboo. Bamboo blossoms, now they almost 50 to 100 years के बाद वो एक ही बार पूरा लाइफ टाइम में एक ही बार फ्लावरिंग करता है. देन वी ऑल्सो टुक द एग्जाम्पल ऑफ नीला कोरंजी जिसका नाम है स्ट्रोबिलेंथस कुंटियाना, जो कि फ्लावरिंग करता है आफ्टर 12 years. Although it has beautiful blue flowers, but it flowers only once in 12 years. Now, pre-fertilization changes, as we discussed, that is before fertilization. The first process will be gametogenesis. Now, if the parent body, this is a very important point that you need to understand, if the parent body is haploid, then gametes are formed by mitosis, because haploid already है, तो उसको gametes production के लिए उसको जरूरत नहीं है मियोसिस करने का. लेकिन अगर डिप्लॉयड ऑर्गेनिज्म है, तो डिप्लॉयड जो ऑर्गेनिजम्स हैं उनमें गेमीट का फॉर्मेशन होता है, देन इट इज बाय मियोसिस. ऑर्गेनिज्म कैन बी होमोथेलिक मोनोशियस और इट कैन बी हेट्रोथेलिक और डायोशियस. होमोथेलिक मींस इट हैज अ कॉमन थैलस, दैट इज मोनोशियस है वो. मोनोशियस जिसे हम कहते हैं जनरली बाइसेक्सुअल, दैट इज दे हैव बोथ द रिप्रोडक्टिव स्ट्रक्चर्स इन द सेम बॉडी. Now, heterothelic are also called dioecious and also called as unisexual. So, in these, they have two different individuals or two different structures in which the male and the female reproductive structures are present. Now, the pre-fertilization events, as we're discussing, first is gametogenesis, that is the process of formation of haploid male and female gametes. Now, gametes can be of two types, homogametes or heterogametes. Homogametes, which are also called the isogametes. Now, these are morphologically comparative, that is similar structures, female and male gametes. While in the case of heterogametes, these are morphologically unique. They're different from each other. In heterogametes, the male gamete is called as the enterozoid or sperm and the female gamete is called the ovum. Now, pre-fertilization changes, gamete transfer, fusion of the male and female gametes is called fertilization. So, the male and female gamete must be brought together. In some organisms, both gametes are motile, like in the case of algae, but in most cases, male gamete is motile, whereas the female gamete is immotile. In algae, the bryophytes and pteridophytes, water is the medium for the gamete transfer. Now, conditions in the flowers. Now, unisexual organisms, the organisms as we discussed, which have either male or female reproductive organs, like here in the case of flowering plants, if I'm discussing, so male flower is called staminate and it bears only stamens, while the female flower is called pistillate and it bears only pistils. Now, examples of dioecious plants include papaya, date palm, while the examples of monoecious plants include the cucurbitaceae. Sexuality in animals, the animals can have both sex organs in the same body and these are called as hermaphrodites. So these are rare, as you know, but the examples are like earthworm. Now, pre-fertilization changes. In the case of flowering plants, pollination is the method by which gamete transfer occurs. And the gametes are transferred in the form of pollen grains, which is the male gametophyte, which contains the male gametes. The number of male gametes usually is very, very high and it goes in beyond 1,000 times, and it is, while in the case of female gametes, it is very less in number. Now, why do they produce large number of gametes? Because most of their gametes are lost during the transferred. In dioecious organisms, there is special mechanism for the gamete transfer. Now, it results in the formation of diploid zygote, that is, fertilization syngamy is the fusion of male and female gamete and results in the formation of diploid zygote. In some animals, like in the case of rotifers, honeybees, this is another very important phenomenon. It occurs in rotifers, honeybees, lizards, birds like turkey, in which the female gametes directly develop into new organism without fertilization, and the process is called as, the phenomenon is called parthenogenesis. Now, this is very important because in this there is no fertilization, rather the female gamete, rather it develops into directly into the new organism. Now, post-fertilization events, that is, which occur after the fertilization. Now, the zygote develops now, as we discussed in the process of fertilization. Now, zygote will further develop, and its development depends upon the type of life cycle and the environment it is exposed to. In algae and fungi, it develops a thick wall around it to resist desiccation and damage and undergoes a period of rest. Now, events after zygote formation, as we discussed here. Now, in organisms which show haplontic life cycle, zygote undergoes meiosis. While in the organisms which show diplontic life cycle, in class 11th, we discussed about the haplontic and the diplontic life cycles. You must be remembering, जिनमें haploid phase dominant होता है, they have the haplontic life cycle, like in the case of Thellophyta. While the ones in which diploid phase is dominant, उन्हें हम कहते हैं डिप्लॉन्टिक, जैसे कि जिम्नोस्पर्म एंड एंजियोस्पर्म, अगर हम प्लांट्स की बात कर रहे हैं तो. So zygote then develops into an embryo, and embryogenesis will involve cell division, cell enlargement or cell growth as we call it, and cell differentiation. So cell division में एक cell divide करेगा, 1 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 8 like this. Cell का size बड़ा होगा and cell will then have a particular, वो अपना एक अलग shape लेगा, एक अलग function लेगा, जिसको हम बोलेंगे cell differentiation. Now post fertilization events, the oviparous organism, जो oviparous animals हैं, उनमें जो embryo है, that will develop inside the female body, outside the female body, and they are the egg-laying animals, like in the case of reptiles and birds, while in the viviparous animals, the embryo development occurs inside the female body, and then they give birth to young ones. In plants, the zygote is formed inside the ovule, as we'll discuss in the next chapter, where it develops into embryo, and then embryo, this ovule will become seed, and the ovary will turn into fruit. Now, germination of seeds produce new plants. Now, this all that we are discussing here will be discussed in detail in the next chapter. Now, there are two types of fertilization, that is external and internal. If it is occurring outside the body, it is called external. If it is occurring inside the female body, usually it is called internal. Now, in case of external, because it has to occur in the environment, large number of gametes are released in the surrounding medium, like in the case of bonyfish and amphibians. While in the internal fertilization, number of ovo produced are less, but large number of male gametes are produced, like in the case of birds, mammals, and earthworm. Now, there are two types of animals as we discussed. The ones which give egg, which lay egg, are called oviparous. The ones which give birth to young ones are called viviparous. Eggs have calcareous shell, but in viviparous animals, there is no shell to protect them. So that's all for today. Thank you, students. Stay safe and stay motivated. God bless you all.